Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where professionals in the field inform, educate and inspire the community to be healthier and have a balanced lifestyle. Our first guest today is Julie Makin, a psychotherapist specialising in hypnotherapy, and we will be exploring whether rejection is sabotaging your self-esteem. Welcome, Julie. It's so great to have you.
Lovely. Thanks very much for having me.
So what is rejection?
Okay, so rejection is a feeling that we get within our bodies. So when we feel it and when it comes up for us, it's kind of like an internal wound. And when it's touched, when something happens to us within our environment and that wound is touched, it really hurts. It really, it's painful. That can also trigger the brain's same process. So that might trigger that feeling in the body, that pain and hurt within the body. So it is actually felt as a physical pain.
And what is self-esteem and how is it impacted by rejection?
So self-esteem, a lot of people actually seem to get confused between confidence and self-esteem. And confidence is confidence in abilities. So when you're a fantastic cook, you're great in the kitchen, but take you out of the kitchen and put you in, to be a car mechanic, and all of a sudden you're not so good. You're not going to have confidence there, but you have confidence in the kitchen. Self-esteem is about how you value and perceive yourself. It has to do with the stories that you tell yourself. I don't matter, and I'm not good enough. And when we're telling ourselves these stories, it actually affects our how we feel about ourselves internally. And when we feel about ourselves that way internally, our body language changes, our energy changes, and it affects the way not only you perceive yourself, but how others treat and perceive you. The way that rejection affects low self-esteem. I'd like to tell you just a little bit of a story about myself. Look, I grew up in a household where my parents would be gold standard parents, all right? So what they taught me was, to be compliant. They taught me to do as I was told. They taught me that other people matter, to put others' needs ahead of my own, that not to talk over anybody else because that would be rude. But in actual fact, what they were teaching me was that I don't matter, to put everybody else ahead of me. And what I can tell you is that in order to be authentic, to feel good about yourself, you really need to be asking yourself, is this right for me? And checking back in with the body and how it feels. Find that reconnect with the body. I grew up with IBS. So I really started to notice it back in high school. I had this mass bad pain in my gut. It was seriously like a 9 out of 10. And I found myself going past the empty classrooms. It was recess, past the metalwork room, past the woodwork room, past the kids that were out there playing t-ball, and I didn't think I was going to make it to the reverse charge, phone, because I wanted to call my mum. Anyway, I got down there, was able to call my mum. My mum came and got me, and by the time I got home, the pain had subsided. I felt safe at home. So rejection not only has you feeling a pain and hurt about how you value and perceive yourself, but your body also responds to it. It helps you to escape. The IBS would actually help me escape the school ground. It helped to show me when I don't feel safe. And just to lead on from there, as an adult and understanding how rejection affects my body, and when somebody else is attacking you, your body shouts loudly when needed, and it's up to us to listen. So rejection, self-esteem, your body's letting you know. Now, because I was brought up in that family of I don't matter, I'm not good enough, to be compliant, to do as I'm told, I'm going out there into the world with that conditioning. And so I'm actually attracting people to me that are perhaps wanting to manipulate me, and they know it from your body language, they know it in how you speak about yourself, how you approach others. And you may find manipulative people that will take advantage of you. And I do feel that this is where domestic violence actually comes into play. To me, mental health and that feeling of safety is really number one priority for our community, for our society, for our government to start listening.
If someone's been rejected, how can they rebuild their self-esteem? Can you tell our audience how they can build their self-esteem, what they can do?
Of course. Okay, so when somebody's feeling hurt and pain, it's from a previous wound. So I invite them to start asking themselves, is this safe? You know, do I feel safe? First question. And the other question is this right for me? Yeah, it's really important. Once you start doing that, innate boundaries will start coming in as you start to heal yourself, and you'll find that things change. Yes, there might be pushback from others around you because, oh my God, all of a sudden you're, not being so subservient. You're not being, quite the do as you're told kind of a person now. You're starting to listen to what is right for you. And when you do that and you continue to do that, others around you will start to change how they approach you, how they respond to you. So it's really important for you to start asking yourself, is this right for me? And another thing that I invite your audience to do is if they have any feeling like their emotions are feeling overwhelming, or perhaps there's a situation where their emotions are more than what the situation requires, I really invite your viewers to seek a professional therapist. Go to pages where people have association membership to ensure that you're seeking out the right professional assistance. And I invite viewers to also note that people who work with the body, I feel that that's where it's at. I feel that trauma, Bessel van der Kolk, he's massive in the US, big psychiatrist, and he notes that trauma cannot be healed from conscious mind therapy only. We need to start working with the body as well. So please seek professional therapy.
That's really helpful, Julie. Thank you so much. If you would like to know more about rejection and self-esteem, and Julie Makin, please visit her webpage on our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we will be back with another interesting guest and another interesting topic.
After the break, breathwork expert and life coach Christine Hart-Savage will be talking about developing emotional intelligence. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and our next guest is breathwork and life coach Christine Hart-Savage, and the topic we'll be discussing today is developing emotional intelligence. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Megan. It's great to be back again.
Christine, emotional intelligence is a really hot topic at the moment. Could you describe for us what emotional intelligence is?
Emotional intelligence is huge, absolutely huge. It's one of those things that we think, what is emotional intelligence? We've got academic sort of intelligence, IQ, and this is EQ. And I think we have SQ, which is spiritual intelligence as well. Emotional intelligence, I'll tell you what it isn't first. And I used to have a lot of the isn't, like a lot of us do. So in my earlier life, I was so sensitive to everything, I was reactive. Now, when we have emotional reactions going on inside us, whether we actually act on them or not, we're charged. So there's this constant feeling of being sucked down the rabbit hole. That emotion that takes us away from being present. We can't see anything clearly when we're in an emotional state, a charged emotional state. And most of us are reactive to that. So we go through life, and whatever's happening around us, or maybe a friend makes a comment, or a husband or a wife makes a comment, or a teacher, or whoever it might be, and suddenly we feel this feeling inside and we are gone. We're actually not there anymore. When we're in that, that is not emotional intelligence. We are lost in an old pattern of behaviour, an old pattern of thinking and feeling. So we want to avoid that sort of thing. So we have to work on healing those deeper layers and bringing our emotional pains and hurts and traumas into balance.
Christine, do you think we have our own ability to choose our own personal path?
I definitely think we do. And this is something that I did not realise when I was younger. I bounced around, just reacting to whatever life brought into my world. I did not know that we could choose our thoughts. I did not know that thoughts created. I did not know that we could choose to work with our emotional state and bring it into harmony and balance. Yes, I do believe we can choose who we want to be in the world. Most definitely.
Do you have any examples you'd like to give us of this?
I'll talk about a realisation I had one day. I studied metaphysical science and I love metaphysical science. And I was reading some of the literature and it suddenly occurred to me, wow, I have made such a mess of my life. So all that emotional attachment I had to things and reactions is a lot of life force being wasted on drama, wasted on chaos. And I thought, if I can really choose who I'm going to be in the world and I can change my thoughts and my reactions, I could use that energy and life force to create something wonderful for myself. What if I had the power to do that? So what I did then was look at values. And I thought, well, what are my values? What do I value? And who are the people that I admire in life? And one of them was my grandmother. She is the most beautiful, beautiful, loving lady, my grandmother. I was very close to her. And I thought, what are the qualities that she shows that I like? And she was warm, she was friendly, she was authentic, she was strong, and she laughed a lot. And she was clever. And I thought, I love all of those qualities. I don't know if I have them, but I'm going to choose those qualities and I'm going to actually start bringing them into my life and embodying them. I'm going to choose the values I like and really whittle those down to a few and start to live those values and bring those qualities of those values into my life, to bring them into my being and to live them and to act them out. And one of the thoughts I had, Megan, was if I am choosing to be a certain way in life, is that a lie? Or is it the truth? And I thought, well, is my past and who I've been a lie or the truth? And then I started to think about, well, I've made a bit of a mess of my earlier life. If I can create a new life, one that I like, that is more peaceful and flowing and interactive with people, surely that's the way to go. So I decided that it was a choice. It's a choice to be who we're choosing to be in life. And then having the ability and the commitment to step into those values and embody the qualities of those values. So I started to do that. And I've worked with my mind so much in my life. So one of the things with emotional intelligence is being able to become non-reactive, non-attached to outcomes of things. So to do that, I use my breath a lot in my life to balance myself.
Christine, what should the viewers and I do to develop our own emotional intelligence?
Really become aware of yourself. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your emotions. Become aware of your actions. And then line those up with the values that you hold dear to you. And try to embody the qualities of those values into your life and act those out. So it does take a lot of practice. And one of the things is any time and every time you catch yourself being caught up in some emotion or feeling like, I'm going to get back at that person, that payback sort of energy, catch that. And every time you catch it, don't go crooked yourself. Put your arm up, bend it at the elbow, pat yourself on the back and say, I caught myself. I am moving forward. I am getting it. So we can work in a way that we're kind to ourselves, but we need to be really focused and really committed to making those changes, but it's worth it. Because then we design who we're going to be and we can live a really wonderful life by our own life design, by leading ourselves in our life. We become much more emotionally intelligent.
Thanks, Christine. That's such fantastic information. If you'd like to know more about developing emotional intelligence or Christine Hart-Savage, go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll have another interesting guest with another interesting topic. Stay tuned. After the break, Sue Williams, Doctor of Quantum Counselling and Clinical Hypnotherapist, will be talking about what happens in your brain under hypnosis, unveiling the science. Welcome back. Our next guest, Sue Williams, is a Doctor of Quantum Counselling and a clinical hypnotherapist, and the topic we'll be discussing today is what happens in your brain under hypnosis. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Megan. It's lovely to be here again.
So, Sue, what does actually happen in your brain when you're under hypnosis?
So I should just explain our levels of consciousness first. So we are in our normal conscious awareness at the moment. We're using the frontal lobe in our brain to create our thoughts. And in this brainwave, which is beta, it allows us to plan, to think of things in the future, which is an unusual concept. I imagine it's specific to humans, but it's something that we create rather than something that is actually happening, but we're using our consciousness, our awareness. If we're doing a project, if we're doing anything that requires us to do calculations or be creative, that sort of thing. So that's our conscious awareness in the beta brainwave. If we get really excited, it can go up to high beta. And these are all brainwaves that can be monitored with electrical equipment, so we know exactly what that brainwave is at any particular time if we need to. So for hypnosis, we go down to a lower brainwave, a slower brainwave, which is alpha, and that normally is the precursor for going to sleep. So our mind quietens, it just slows down a bit, and then that allows the analytical conscious mind just to drift off and do its own thing for a while, and our subconscious mind then can come forward and we can deal with that in our hypnosis sessions. Further down than that, if we go into an unconscious state, then we're going down into even deeper, slower brain waves. So that's when we're in a really deep sleep or for any other reason that we may be unconscious, but we're not aware. We are aware in hypnosis when we're in that alpha brainwave, and that is what makes the sessions so accessible for people to discuss things, because they can speak quite normally and hear what the hypnotherapist is saying. So they are still aware, but they're just not in this normal awareness that we have for most of the day. As humans, we're in and out of trance all day. People say, I can't be hypnotised. And I think, well, have you ever experienced reading a really good book, something where you get really engrossed? You're sitting there reading, your conscious mind is creating all the scenes from the words, and you're experiencing everything that's happening in that book. And an hour's gone by and I haven't even realised it. So you, in essence, have been in trance. Or if you go a similar route from work to home each day, you leave work and you're planning whatever else you have to do. You have to go and buy groceries, or you have to take the kids to sport or whatever. And you get home and you think, how did I get here? And your subconscious mind has taken over because it knows how to drive. If it's a regular route that you go through, it knows which intersections you have to be careful at. And you are being perfectly safe because that's the subconscious mind's job, to keep you safe. So it's something that we do regularly, all day, every day, in and out of trance, just for a few seconds perhaps, or for longer, depending on what we're doing.
Is there any scientific evidence to back it up?
Oh, absolutely. If we go back to the 18th century, so the 1700s, Franz Mesmer, people will know the term being mesmerised, being really engrossed in something. He was probably one of the fathers of more modern hypnosis. It changed from just trance to being hypnosis. And through the 19th century, there were further developments, but it really got going in the 20th century with a lot of scientific research, how the mind works specifically during hypnosis. I know in a lot of movies they show that you can have your mind taken over by the hypnotist, and that person can make you do all sorts of things that you would not normally do. Well, in real life, it's almost impossible for the hypnotherapist to take over your brain, because your morals, your thought patterns, the way you live your life is so strong within you. So don't be scared about what you see in the movies, because it's not possible in normal hypnotherapy sessions.
What can you offer our audience that would like to go on this journey themselves?
I've said many times, I wish people would come to the hypnotherapist as their first port of call, not as that last desperate effort to find help. And because it's becoming to be more widespread, hypnotherapists are tending to specialise. In the past, you would go to a hypnotherapist for just everything, like you would go to a GP. But now you can actually go straight to that specialist hypnotherapist. So if you have a lot of stress, if you have anxiety, depression, that type of thing, we have so many really good qualified hypnotherapists who can help you specifically with that. My practice is helping athletes and sporting teams, and by doing that I can help them with their mental focus, get them to train their own brains so that when they're on the starting line or out with the team waiting for the whistle to blow, they go into the zone. So we can train them to do that. We can train them to use their mind to overcome injuries so that they can get back on the field so much quicker. Very common ones obviously are ceasing smoking and shedding weight. So there are a lot of specialist practitioners who can help you with that as well. And I really have not heard of anyone who's not a genuine, caring, helping person.
Thanks so much, Sue. If you'd like to know more about Sue Williams and what happens to your brain when it's under hypnosis, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And we'll say goodbye for now and see you next week. If you'd like to know more about our show, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel.